All right, let's dive into something pretty fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to take a look at how a UK primary school handled curriculum recovery post-COVID.
Okay.
You might think it's all about catching kids up on academics,
Right.
but this research paper in the Education 313 International Journal, it reveals something way deeper.
Okay.
They found that prioritizing student well-being was actually the key
Wow.
to their success.
Interesting.
So kind of an interesting twist, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So to set the stage a little bit,
Okay.
we're talking about a typical English public school, about 350 students, ages 3 to 11, following the national curriculum.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
They have a crazy student mobility rate, like between 45 and 60%,
Oh, wow.
because lots of the families are connected to the military.
I see.
So you can imagine the disruption
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
those kids.
Yeah.
Constant movement. That
Oh.
disrupts that sense of belonging
Exactly.
and stability.
Right. And that's so essential for well-being.
And that was a concern even before
Yeah.
the pandemic.
Before the pandemic even hit.
Yeah, one of their year 6 classes, they had lower than expected test scores
Oh.
across math, reading, writing.
Mm-hmm.
And their teacher had even flagged concerns
Really?
about the students' mental health.
Interesting.
And it wasn't just like
Right.
a one-off thing.
Yeah.
They'd also had some external reviews.
Okay.
And those reviews had pointed out inconsistencies in teaching quality and how students of different abilities were being challenged.
I see.
So there were already some cracks,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah, in the foundation.
And then,
yeah.
bam, COVID hits.
Right.
School closures, remote learning, the whole world is turned upside down.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine what that did to these kids,
Oh, yeah.
especially with all the moving.
Especially on top of all the moving that they were dealing with.
So, not surprisingly, well-being took a hit.
Right.
They actually conducted a well-being survey
Oh, wow.
in mid-2020
Okay.
with students from year 1 to year 6.
So ages 5 to 11.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And the results showed a decline.
Not surprising. A
I know.
decline in their social, physical, community well-being.
And overwhelmingly,
Yeah.
the kids just wanted things to go back to normal.
Back to normal.
You know?
Of course.
So, faced with this data, the school leadership, they got to work and they crafted this recovery plan.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about academics.
Mm-hmm.
They outlined 8 key goals.
Okay.
And guess what number 1 was?
Let me guess. Pupil well-being.
Pupil well-being.
Wow.
It wasn't like an afterthought or anything. It was the foundation of their entire recovery
Interesting.
strategy.
Okay.
Because they understood that addressing those fundamental needs, like belonging, stability, feeling safe,
Right.
that was crucial
Yeah.
for academic success.
Makes sense.
It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs
Totally.
in action, right?
Yeah, you can't build a house on shaky ground.
Exactly.
You got to have that foundation.
You need that foundation.
Yeah.
And they didn't stop there.
Okay.
The other goals show how thorough their approach was.
Okay, so what were some of the other goals?
So goal number 2 was reading comprehension.
Okay, makes sense.
Foundational skill.
Right.
Goal number 3, quality feedback
Oh, interesting.
for students and teachers.
Wow.
So they wanted to make sure everyone was growing.
I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Goal number 4,
Okay.
balance in the curriculum drivers.
So not just rote learning.
No, they wanted to develop the whole child,
I see.
emphasizing things like learning skills,
Uh-huh.
citizenship,
Right.
and community.
Very holistic.
Exactly.
Okay.
Goal number 5,
Yeah.
increased challenge for all L students.
Okay.
So no matter their level.
Mm-hmm.
Goal number 6.
Okay.
This is a good one. Progress in math.
Specifically for all students.
Okay.
Then goal number 7,
Mm-hmm.
year 6 attainment in math.
Okay, so really focusing on those older kids.
Yeah, those who are about to transition
Right, about to go to secondary school.
to secondary school. Exactly.
Gotcha.
And then finally, goal number 8.
Go.
This one's important for quality control.
Right.
Consistent moderation and monitoring of student work across all learning areas.
So making sure like a B in one classroom
Exactly.
means the same thing in another.
You got it.
Gotcha.
So they created this really comprehensive roadmap.
Yeah, very thorough.
Right.
But how did they actually put it into practice?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because it wasn't just a list of good intentions.
Yeah.
They had a concrete plan
Okay.
to bring these goals to life.
I'm intrigued.
All right, well, let's dig into that plan.
Let's do it.
They recognize that teachers are really the key
Yeah.
because they're the ones on the ground, right?
They're the ones working with the students every day. Yeah, they really understand the unique needs of each child.
Right.
So instead of this like top-down approach,
Mm-hmm.
they really fostered this culture of collaboration.
I see.
So teachers were actually encouraged to share their insights, their own research,
Really?
and even to participate
Wow.
in shaping the curriculum.
So it wasn't just, here's the plan, now go teach it.
Oh, no.
It was a true partnership.
It was a partnership between the
Yeah.
leadership and the teachers.
I bet that made a huge difference.
Huge difference in
buy-in
buy-in.
from the teachers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that collaborative spirit even extended to their approach to well-being.
Oh, interesting.
So remember those weekly well-being sessions?
Yeah.
They weren't just for students.
Oh, wow.
Teachers participated too,
So leading by example.
leading by example.
Very good.
So it wasn't just talk, right?
Right. It was embedded
They were actually embedding well-being into the fabric
into the school day.
of the school day
Yeah.
for both students and staff.
So what did that look like?
So what did that look like in practice?
In practice.
Well, they used things like circle time.
Circle time.
So
Okay.
this is like a simple but powerful way to create a safe space
Right.
for the students to share their feelings
Uh-huh.
and connect with each other.
I can see how that would be helpful,
So helpful, especially for those students.
especially for those students who are constantly moving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Trying to find that sense of belonging
It's that sense of belonging.
and stability.
Yeah, that stability.
Yeah.
So important.
And it wasn't just about sharing feelings, right?
Okay.
They also encouraged them to reflect on their learning,
Oh, interesting.
identify their emotions,
Wow.
and to celebrate their unique talents and strengths
So it's like developing emotional literacy
alongside those academic skills.
alongside those academic skills.
Yeah, very
Like
holistic.
much more holistic approach to education
Right.
than what a lot of us experience
Might have experienced
growing up.
growing up. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And they tied it back to those
Yeah.
curriculum drivers.
So the citizenship
Yeah, the citizenship, the community,
and community aspects.
right. They incorporated activities
Okay.
that encouraged students to think about their values,
Mm-hmm.
their impact on others,
Right.
and how they could contribute to their community.
That's great.
So we've got this collaborative leadership style,
Yeah.
this well-being woven throughout the school day,
Mm-hmm.
this focus on developing the whole child.
The whole child.
But we can't forget about those academic gaps.
Right. We can't forget about the academics.
How do they address those
Yeah.
while still prioritizing their being?
Right.
Well, remember those baseline assessments they
Yeah,
conducted
the beginning.
at the beginning?
Mhm.
They use that data
Okay.
to target the specific areas.
Right. So they were being strategic about it.
They're being strategic, not just
not just blindly reteaching everything.
trying to reteach everything. Exactly.
Okay.
So did they use any specific teaching approaches?
So were there certain methods
Certain method,
that they were using
to address those gaps?
to address the gaps?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were very adaptable.
Okay.
They drew from both teacher-centered and student-centered,
Okay, so not just sticking to lectures
not just lectures and worksheets.
and worksheets.
Okay.
They incorporated a variety of methods,
All right.
including direct instruction for foundational skills,
Okay.
but also more student-centered approaches like group projects,
Oh,
the
interesting.
inquiry-based learning.
So they kept things interesting
They kept things fresh
and engaging.
and engaging.
That variety is key.
Variety is key.
Right.
Absolutely.
And they also emphasized the importance of ongoing feedback. Oh, that's so important.
So not just grades, but real-time feedback
Real time, yeah.
that helps students understand their progress
Uh-huh.
and how to improve.
So kind of like that assessment for learning approach.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Assessment for learning.
It's like having a built-in GPS for learning.
It's just like a GPS.
Constantly adjusting the route.
Yeah, that's a great
Make
analogy.
sure everybody reaches their destination.
And that feedback loop
Mm-hmm.
wasn't just for students.
Oh, interesting.
They encouraged teachers
Okay.
to be reflective practitioners as well,
Selective, yeah.
constantly evaluating their own teaching
Uh-huh.
and looking for ways
To get better.
to improve. Yeah.
To improve.
So it's like that old saying,
What's that?
iron sharpens iron.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that one.
By creating this culture
Yeah.
of feedback and collaboration,
Right.
they elevated everybody's game.
They created this virtuous cycle
They did.
where everyone's learning and growing.
Yeah,
Get
and they
that.
didn't stop there.
Okay, there's more.
They took a truly holistic approach,
Oh,
incorporating things like physical activity and even outdoor learning.
outdoor learning. Tell me more.
Tell me more about this.
Okay.
What kind of outdoor
What
adventures
are they doing?
where they have a,
Outside?
well, they had a dedicated PE teacher
Okay.
who was providing weekly sessions for all the students.
Right.
And they took it a step further
Okay.
with something called
What's it called?
Forest School.
Forest school. What is that?
Forest School.
Yeah.
So it's this approach to learning
Okay.
that takes place outdoors
Right.
in a natural setting.
Like in the woods.
Imagine like classroom lessons,
Wow.
but in the woods.
That's cool.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
I bet the kids love that.
They did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just about having fun.
Right.
It provided all these opportunities for teamwork,
Teamwork. Yeah.
problem solving, risk taking,
That's great.
all within like this safe
Within a safe environment.
and supportive environment.
That's awesome.
So they're really thinking outside the box here.
Thinking outside the box.
It sounds like they created this learning environment
Yeah.
that fostered not just academic growth,
Right.
but also well-being,
Yeah.
social skills.
And a love for nature.
I love for nature.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's great.
This deep dive has been so enlightening.
It has been.
But before we get too carried away,
Yeah.
we do need to dig a little deeper into how they actually achieved
Okay.
these 8 ambitious goals.
The 8 goals, right? Let's unpack that.
Let's unpack the specifics of their
Yeah.
strategies.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're back, and I'm ready to hear more about how this school made those 8 goals a reality.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's start with goal number 1,
Right.
pupil well-being.
Okay.
They made it their top priority.
Right.
But how did they actually put it into practice?
Well, they were really strategic.
Okay.
I remember that well-being survey they gave to the students?
Yeah.
That was really key.
Okay.
It gave them, the data. They needed to understand the scope.
The scope of the challenge.
Yeah, it's like taking a temperature reading.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to know where things stand
You gotta know.
before you can start treating
Before you can treat the patient.
the patient, right?
But data alone
Yeah.
isn't enough.
No.
So what did they do with that information?
Well, they used a tool called the Boxall profile
Okay.
to get a more nuanced understanding
Okay.
of the student's social, emotional, and mental health.
Oh, wow. So they really dug deep.
They dug deep,
Okay.
and then they used that to implement this multifaceted
Multifaceted.
approach.
Okay. So tell me about some of those strategies.
All right, well, they incorporated those weekly well-being sessions
Yeah. For students and staff.
for students and staff.
Right.
And they didn't just like tack it on as an extra.
Right.
They really thoughtfully integrated well-being practices
Into the everyday lessons.
into the everyday lessons.
So it's about creating that culture of well-being,
that culture,
not just checking a box.
not just checking a box.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They focused on creating the school environment
Yeah.
where students felt safe, respected, and valued.
And that's where the leadership
That's where the leadership comes in.
really comes in.
Right, because it's one thing to have a plan.
You got to have someone to guide it,
You got to have someone to inspire.
to inspire,
guide.
and guide.
Yeah. So the leader in this case was able to rally the entire school community
Really?
around this idea of well-being
Around this age.
as a foundation for everything else.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is powerful.
Okay, so goal number 1,
Check.
achieved. Now, what about goal number 2?
All right, goal number 2, reading comprehension.
Reading comprehension.
Yes.
How did they tackle that one?
Well, they took this really targeted approach.
Targeted.
They used the data from those initial assessments
Okay.
to identify specific areas
Specific areas.
where
spelled-
students were struggling, and then they used this real-time feedback system.
Assessment for learning.
Yeah, what educators call assessment for learning,
Right.
to monitor progress
Monitor progress.
and adjust their teaching.
So instead of waiting until like
The end of
It's
term, big test.
for a big test, they were
Yeah.
constantly
They were constantly
checking in and adapting.
adapting, yeah.
Got it.
They focused on providing high-quality feedback
High quality feedback.
to help the students understand
Understand what they were doing well.
where they could improve.
So not just pointing out mistakes,
No.
but providing guidance.
Guidance and support.
Support for growth.
Support for growth.
Okay. And then for students who needed extra help,
Yeah,
did they provide extra support?
they did. How?
They provided targeted support.
Targeted.
For like small group instruction.
Okay.
One-on-one tutoring using different teaching methods.
So it's about recognizing that every student
learns differently.
learns differently.
Right. And meeting them where they are.
Meeting them where they are.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that was goal number 2.
That was goal number 2.
Let's move on to goal number 3.
Okay. Goal number 3, quality feedback.
Quality feedback, but for the teachers this time.
Right, for the teachers.
Yeah.
Well, they fostered this culture of professional development
Okay.
and peer-to-peer feedback.
Okay, I like that.
So teachers were encouraged to share best practices,
Okay.
observe each other's classrooms,
Right.
and provide constructive feedback.
So powerful, that space for teachers to learn from each other.
It's so powerful.
It's not just improving individual practice.
Right.
It's building a stronger team.
It's building that team.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they didn't stop there.
No.
They kept going.
Goal number 4.
Goal number 4, balance in the curriculum drivers.
Those curriculum drivers.
Learning skills, citizenship, and community.
They sound great on paper,
They do.
but how do they actually integrate them
Integrate them into the school day.
into the school day?
Yeah.
Right, across all those different subjects.
Well, they were really intentional about weaving those drivers into their lesson plans
Okay.
across all subjects.
Look, all subjects.
So, for example, to foster learning skills, they might have students engage in debates or design experiments,
Oh, cool.
activities that challenge them to think critically and solve problems.
So it's not just about memorizing facts.
No, it's about those higher order thinking skills.
Yeah,
Right.
equipping them with the skills they need
To the skills they need
to be lifelong learners.
to be lifelong learners.
Yeah, I like that.
And then to develop citizenship.
Okay.
They might have students research and discuss current events.
Okay.
Or participate in simulations
Right.
that help them understand different perspectives and civic responsibilities.
So it's about getting them engaged
Engaged in the world around them?
in the world around them.
Yes.
Okay. And for community,
For community.
how do they bring that to life?
Well, they might partner with local organizations
Oh, right.
for service learning projects
Oh, nice.
or invite guest speakers
Guest speakers from the community.
from the community to share their experiences and expertise.
I like that.
They wanted the students to see those connections
Connections
between what they were learning
in the classroom
and the real world.
and the real world.
Yeah.
It's about making learning relevant.
Relevant and empowering
Right.
them to be active members of their communities.
Active members.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're halfway through.
Halfway there.
Goal number 5 was about providing increased challenge
Yes.
for all students.
For all students, that sounds tricky.
That sounds tricky
It is tricky
because every student learns
at a different pace.
at a different pace,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And they have different strengths.
Different strengths and weaknesses.
So how do they manage this?
Well, they used a combination of strategies.
Okay.
Flexible grouping,
Okay.
tiered assignments.
And personalized learning paths.
Okay, break those down for me.
All right, so flexible grouping means that students aren't always stuck in the same group.
Right.
So teachers can group them by ability level
Okay.
for some activities
Okay.
and then mix them up
Mix them up.
for
What
others
else?
to promote collaboration and peer learning.
So it's about creating that dynamic
Dynamic.
learning environment
Yeah.
where students are challenged
Challenged and supported
and supported
no matter where they're starting.
no
from.
matter their starting point.
Exactly.
Okay. And what about tiered assignments?
All right, so with tiered assignments, the teacher creates different versions of the same assignment,
Okay.
but each one has a different level of complexity.
Oh, interesting.
So all students are working on the same core concept,
Got it.
but the level of challenge is tailored to their needs.
Because of that.
All right,
Yeah.
so it keeps everybody engaged.
Prevents students from feeling overwhelmed or bored.
Yeah, that's a great approach.
And then personalized learning paths.
Yeah, what are those?
Personalized learning paths give students more choice and control
Okay.
over their learning.
I like that.
So they might be able to choose from a menu of activities,
Okay.
work at their own pace,
Okay.
or even set their own learning goals.
Oh, wow.
It's about empowering them
Empowering them.
to be active participants in their education.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's goals 1 through 5.
1 through 5 are on a roll.
On to goals 6 and 7.
All right, goals 6 and 7.
Progress in math
Progress in math.
and year 6 attainment in math.
Okay, math.
Math, did they use any specific strategies?
Yeah, and they used a balanced approach,
Yeah.
combining direct instruction
Direct
to
instruction.
build foundational skills,
Foundational skills. Okay.
but also hands-on activities
Okay.
and real-world problem solving
To make it more engaged.
to make it more engaging, more relevant.
Right. It's about making math come alive.
Come alive, yeah.
Showing them how it
Well, that
applies
it applies
to their lives.
to their lives.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they also really emphasized math fluency.
Math fluency, what's that?
Math fluency is the ability to recall basic math facts
Okay.
quickly and accurately.
Like multiplication tables.
Exactly, like multiplication tables.
If you're struggling with those,
It makes everything else harder.
it makes everything else harder.
Yeah. So that fluency frees up mental space.
Mental space.
To tackle those more complex problems.
Okay, so that was goals 6 and 7.
6 and 7.
Last but not least.
All right, bring it home.
Goal number 8.
Goal number 8.
Consistent moderation and monitoring.
Oh, yeah.
Of student work across all learning areas.
Quality control.
This sounds a little less exciting.
It does.
Than forest school.
Yeah, not as fun.
But I'm guessing it's still pretty important.
It's crucial.
Crucial.
It's about quality control.
Okay.
For Learn, they implemented systems to make sure that everyone was grading student work consistently.
Consistently.
And that those grades reflected actual learning.
So it's about making sure that a B in one classroom
means the same thing in another classroom.
means the same thing in another classroom.
Exactly.
And it's about using data to inform instruction.
Absolutely.
So by tracking student progress,
over time,
teachers can identify areas where they need to adjust.
Adjust their teaching, provide more support.
Wow, they really thought of everything.
They did.
This school's story is so inspiring.
It is inspiring.
They faced some serious challenges.
Yeah.
But they tackled them head on.
They did.
With this holistic and intentional approach.
Intentionally.
They didn't just try to, patch things up.
Right.
They reimagined what education could be.
Yeah, they reimagined it.
Prioritizing well-being,
yeah,
fostering collaboration.
And creating a learning environment where everyone can thrive.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway.
It's a powerful reminder.
It is.
That when we invest in the whole child, their well-being, their social-emotional development,
their academic growth, we unlock their full potential.
We unlock their potential, absolutely.
And I think this approach
goes beyond
the classroom.
It goes beyond schools.
It goes beyond schools.
It's relevant for workplaces.
Community organizations.
Even our personal lives.
I love that.
When we prioritize well-being and foster a culture of collaboration.
Everyone benefits.
But
this deep dive has been a real eye-opener.
Yeah.
I hope our listeners are feeling as inspired as I am.
Me too. It's a reminder that even in the face of adversity, we can create positive change.
We can.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been a pleasure.
Remember, learning is a lifelong adventure.
Keep learning.
Keep exploring. Keep questioning.
Keep diving deep.
Keep diving deep.